Okay, so this video is for everyone that belongs to Prince George Motorcycle Owners, and this is basically going to help us when we're in a very large group, okay? So what I'm going to explain here is basically the obligations of the lead rider and the obligations of the rear rider, okay? In this particular group here, we have 7, but in Prince George Motorcycle Owners, we have so many new riders, we have experienced riders, and we have a lot of riders that haven't rode in groups before, okay? So that's what this video is for. Sometimes when we get like 12 riders out there, due to intersections, due to, you've got intersections, you've got traffic, you've got lights and everything else, sometimes the group of 12 or whatever gets broke up. So if the group gets broke up, usually Stuart Antonaco, that's myself, and Cody Antonaco would be the rear rider. He has a lot of experience at this. So the front rider, if you become the front rider, your job is to, if you get broke up from the group, and there's like 7 of you, and there's another 5 ahead or whatever, your job is to somehow maneuver and everything else and get caught up with the front group, okay, that you're away from. But if you find yourself becoming the lead rider, remember that your job is to stick close to that center line, closer than the rest of the bikes, so that when somebody like this guy in this truck comes up behind like this and he's going to move into the other lane, he can have a clear view of vision to you, the lead bike. So all these other bikes, they got to make sure they move over enough so that this guy can see the lead bike. And your job basically is to maintain that lane dominance, that lane position. So this being said, the rear bike, the last rider, if you find yourself becoming the last rider, and Cody Antonaco has a lot of experience at this, if you find yourself being the rear rider, your job is extremely important. The lead rider always maintains the path of the group, and he has to judge distances from here to here. So from the front bike to the rear bike to change lanes, and where the group is going, he's got to watch for traffic, hazards, and everything ahead. But the rear rider's job is the safety of the group. His job is to protect the group, to keep them out of danger. And I'm going to explain to you what your job is. If you become the rear rider, your job is not to ride in position like this. You see how they're all staggered perfectly in a line like this? This guy in the truck comes up like this. Your job is not to be there. Your job is to be slightly over, but not enough to block his vision to the lead rider. You need to see the lead rider, and I'm going to explain here why. When you're in heavy traffic and everything else, and all of a sudden we need to get into the left lane, what's going to happen is as this truck comes up behind you and you're the rear rider, this lead rider, 12 bikes ahead, sometimes cannot judge correctly or cannot see this truck or car coming up behind the group. So what he'll do is he'll signal to get into the other lane so the rest of the bikes can follow. So that would be me. So I'm signaling, I pull over, I maintain lane dominance, so I'm right there. Your job at the back is to actually watch for that. When I signal, or the lead rider signals and pulls over, your job, because we're all going this way, your job is to signal and pull into this lane, just like this. And the reason for that is as this truck's coming up behind us, we're going the speed limit. This guy up here can't quite see the truck or the car. He signals and pulls into the lane. Your job is to signal and take up that lane. As these bikes start to pull over, what happens is now that truck comes up, there's not enough room between him and this bike and you. So what you've done is you've blocked off both lanes until the rest of the group gets a chance to pull over into their new position for the turn. So they're going to get into staggered position like so, and you are now going to be here. What that'll do is now the lead bike is here. We've got another bike here, 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 here. You're here, there, and now this truck that was following us can now zoom along like this, and we've done a perfect lane change. I'm going to show you what happens if you don't do that. This is really important when we're riding. Okay, so staggered lane position. Everybody's where they are. This truck is now behind us. He's growing a little impatient, okay? The lead rider decides to signal. This rider here comes over like this. This rider comes like this. These riders are starting to go, but not quite there. You haven't changed lanes. This truck pulls in like this. He hits the brakes because now he's stuck between. We have 3 riders ahead. We have 4 riders. This rider may not have been paying attention and may pull over. This rider's going to be pulling over, and you can already see what's happening here. The danger is incredible. We have a huge vehicle weighing thousands of pounds that's stuck between all of us bikes. That is an accident waiting to happen, okay? So that's, I know this is a long video, but this is very, very important when we're riding, okay? And I'm going to redo this. Get it all set up so everybody's in their proper position, okay? Truck's coming up behind. Steward or lead rider signals. Back rider signals right away and pulls up just slightly. Okay, so that when this truck comes up, there's no room. He can be impatient. He can be trying to get through. He can't. You've got the road blocked. We basically have all 2 lanes to ourselves. Now these guys can pull over, and pull over. Sorry about that. So everybody's staggered properly again because they all pull over into the lane and they pull into their new positions and their new riding positions. And we basically blocked, this rear rider blocked the lanes so that this truck can go past and everyone can get into the left lane. Okay?